Life Pro Tips Best of the Week number 5. After a bad breakup, do 10 things that your ex would never do with you. You'll feel better and realize how much of yourself was being held back. Never tell a coworker anything you wouldn't want your manager to hear, no matter how much you trust them. I got fired a few weeks ago because I told my coworker I was having trouble memorizing the alcohol we had at the store, and for taking off for surgery. I'm assuming I'm having a hard time, so it was nice to see everyone with the same problem. Hope you'll learn this lesson through me and not how I did, lol. If you're someone that always listens to music in your car, make it a habit at least once a month to turn it off and listen to your car for a couple minutes. There may be an issue you're not aware of which could be caught before it turns into a major problem. Once you've already made a mistake, or let someone down, heavily resist the temptation to over-explain, justify, or excuse your actions. Own up to it, offer to make up for it, and move on. It's getting cold outside. Throw an extra blanket in your car, a spare hat and gloves, a shovel, and some cat litter. These items can quite literally save your life in the winter. When writing a thesis or a scientific paper, don't end your day with a completed section. Write at least 1 or 2 sentences into the next topic to make it easier for your future self to continue writing the next day. When you replace "why is this happening to me" with "what do I need to do now," everything shifts. If you find yourself lacking motivation to do anything, try just taking a shower and making your bed. The feeling of accomplishment and being clean will tremendously help your state of mind and can easily motivate you to be even more productive. Edit: obviously, for those who have depression or other mental health issues, this isn't some magic cure and won't necessarily work. No need for attacks and insults. This does work for lots of people. If you want to make sure someone has learned the correct process, make them deliberately do everything as wrong as possible. Speaking as a teacher, and anyone in an educational or supervisory role will likely relate, one of the most frustrating things is when you explain a task to someone and check that they understand, only for them to completely botch it. In fairness, we often do make assumptions that because we can do it well, others will have the intuition to also have the same skill and knowledge. It's difficult for a learner to recognize and validate their own process as being correct. However, people are very good at recognizing when something is wrong. The way this concept was introduced to me was to play 2 games of tic-tac-toe. The first game, play as normal and see who wins. You normally see some cockiness as people try to outplay each other and reach the inevitable draw. There's no real thought process of how to win, just making sure the other person doesn't. Second game, the goal was to intentionally lose. Suddenly, the room fell quiet. Each player had to think about doing the wrong move in order to lose. There was much more reflection and processing than playing to win. This was then explained in the context of doing PowerPoint presentations. We have an idea of what a good presentation should look like: clear bullet points, minimal text, minimal distractions, etc., but we never seem to get students to understand what we expect. Turn the expectations around, as a pre-task, get them to make the worst possible presentation, and you suddenly get a bunch of people engaged in outdoing each other and throwing in walls of text, spinny animations and multiple soundtracks. When the students made their proper presentations, they avoided all the things that they had deliberately done wrong. Whether you're teaching someone else, or teaching yourself, it may be helpful to do it wrong. Obligatory clarification edits. This is intended to be a one-off exercise to check understanding. Don't deliberately teach people the wrong method to do this. The key is that the learner is intentionally making the wrong move, not accidentally or unknowingly. They must be aware that it is wrong. Don't do this in a real, practical situation. This is a learning and training tip. Wet the blade of your knife before cutting an onion. Onions contain volatile sulfur compounds which are released when you cut/bruise the onion. When they come in contact with the moisture in your eyes, they react and produce sulfenic acids. They can irritate your eyes and trigger your lacrimal glands to activate and start producing tears, and it's what makes you cry. If you wet the blade of your knife before cutting the onion, those sulfur compounds will react with the water on the blade instead of getting in your eyes, so no more crying. Source: Am Chemist. Edit: fixed a scientifically incorrect part about what's actually making you cry. If you have white laundry that has yellowed, do not use chlorine bleach, Clorox. Use oxygen bleach instead. Also, for severely yellowed whites, use a bluing agent, Mrs. Stewart's Bluing. When asking someone out, always give them your number instead of asking for theirs. Giving them the option to contact you is a sign of respect, and it takes a lot of the pressure off of them after being put on the spot. If you already know what gifts you're getting people for the upcoming holidays, put it in an online cart now, but don't buy it yet. Most places will send you coupons or special promotions to try and get you to buy the product. Edit: this is not for every website or product ever. If you only shop on large retailers, you're probably missing out. Some companies do it and others do not. It's definitely worth it to save a few bucks if you're going to buy it anyway. When dealing with lawyers, tell them everything. Lawyers can only assist you with the information you give them, and trying to hide something from them can make your situation far worse. This is especially true with situations where you need to declare past convictions, or drugs. If you've been invited over for a get-together by someone you'd like to get to know better, offer to come over early to help set up. This will show that you're a giving friend and can give you the opportunity to have some one-on-one time before everyone else shows up. Edit: don't know why people are missing the part where I said offer. Nowhere did I say to just show up early without the offer being accepted. There are many ways to ask this that do not put serious pressure on the host. You can also offer to bring something or ask if they need help cleaning up after, a simple "let me know if I can help" or "bring something." Every person needs to decide what works best for themselves and take the other person and context into account. This is what I like to call thinking for yourself. Those that constantly join the hive mind might want to try it sometime. And for the people arguing that this is going to induce some kind of deep anxiety in the host because they're afraid to say no, saying no is a life skill everyone needs to learn. I would never support pressuring someone, and I would always advise that a person is thoughtful of another's feelings. But I will not live my life walking on eggshells at every turn out of fear that someone may react badly when I am sincere and kind. There will always be people who choose to think the worst, and many comments on this post are a prime example of that. When considering moving a loved one into a nursing home, take into consideration the appearance of residents' fingernails. If they are clean and well kept, that's a good sign of quality care. That can make your decision easier knowing they are well taken care of. Moving a family member into a nursing home this weekend. I asked why they chose the place they did, and was told by my aunt because the nails were clean and it shows the staff cares about the people. If you want to support the bees, then buy honey from local producers. China dumps fake honey on the world market that has been difficult to detect. That destroys local markets. Run your ideas at work by the known skeptics first. They will naturally help you refine your pitch with their natural negative slant. The defense of your idea will make your pitch stronger, and you'll also help them as they see you develop ideas for change. If you want to divide something among two people, usually kids, you get one person to divide, and the other person gets first pick on which piece they want. Everyone wins, and it ensures the person who divides is fair. Razors get dull mostly from rust, not use. To prolong the life of razor cartridges, dip the razor in rubbing alcohol or clean it with an alcohol pad after each use, effectively drying it off. Using this method, one cartridge can last several months, saving a lot of money. When something bad happens to a friend or loved one, there's usually a burst of support right away, but then people move on and forget. Keep checking in after the initial influx just so they know people are still thinking about them. Bonus LPT, use an email scheduler to send an email over the subsequent weeks/months just to say you're thinking about them. Doesn't have to be a whole lot more than just a simple note. If you think you can understand most of the words and grammar of a foreign language, try watching a couple of stand-up comedies of that language. You know you're good to go when it entertains you or understand the jokes. When starting a new job, have a notepad, take notes, and recap most conversations and meetings as they end. You'll make a strong early impression and have more coasting room down the road should you need it. Many Black Friday deals are versions of quality products which are manufactured with cheaper, less reliable parts. Make sure to check the model number before buying to be informed about what you are getting.